to the podium. He's going to introduce our next award recipient. Are you guys ready to see some more folks win some awards tonight? Some of our prominent African Americans that are really doing change and really about something. So come on up here, Michael. I'm going to give you the microphone and you can go ahead and introduce our next award recipient.
How's everyone feeling tonight? All right, I don't know about you, but I'm having a good time. I mean, it's not only do we have great performers, we have great speeches and great words to really inspire us in this community. I have the distinct honor to present to you our next honoree. Now, this man was born and raised in Brooklyn. How many people from Brooklyn we have here tonight? All right. This man loved Brooklyn so much that he grew up to offer a life of public service to the constituents of Brooklyn. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor of presenting to you State Senator Kevin Parker, who's committed to restoring the overall quality of life for the constituents of the 21st Senatorial District in Brooklyn. A lifelong Brooklyn resident, Senator Parker has been a Flatbush resident for more than 31 years. Having been nurtured, schooled, and employed in the district, Senator Parker is intimately familiar with the needs of this ethnically diverse community that consists of 311,000 constituents in communities that include Flatbush, East Flatbush, Midwood, Ditmas Park, Kensington, and Borough Park. In his first term in office, he was selected as a prestigious fellow, a program that trains emerging state legislators from across the 50 states. In 2005, he participated in intensive government coursework with elected and other professionals of various fields from around the country at the Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University. He was one of 40 emerging state leaders from across the country to receive the Toll Fellowship from the Council of State Government, and he's also currently sits on the New York State Board, New York State Blood Center Advisory Board, as well as he's also the ranking member on the Energy and Telecommunications Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I want you to put your hands together for Senator Kevin Parker.
Thank you, Michael Pierre. Give Michael a round of applause. And I want to thank him for leaving his job at the Knicks to announce me. I felt like I was running out onto Madison Square Garden today. And I'm, I guess, Beverly, I could relate to like the bio. And Michael did a really good job because he came to me and was like, they want me to say all of this? I'm like, no, don't do that, don't do it to me. Because it always reminds me when they go through my bio, right? Once I went to speak at a public school, right? And they're saying, oh, you used to work at the city council, right? You used to work for the state controller, Carl McCall, used to be special assistant to Hillary Clinton, then, worked as a state senator, sat on this committee. And after I was done, they read all that stuff at the school one time, and a little kid stood up and said, what's the matter, son? Can't keep a job? I was like, so sometimes what may look like, a great resume to some, may look like instability to others. So Michael, thank you for making it look exciting. Give a round of applause for Blackstreet and all the wonderful work that they're doing. Now, I mentioned I used to work for one of my mentors, H. Carl McCall. He was actually the first African-American elected statewide. He was the state controller. And Carl used to say, Kevin, always remember, a good politician keeps a speech in one of three places: his head, his heart, or his briefcase. So I had one in my briefcase and I was coming up and I lost it. But I was glad to see that Beverly Bond found my speech and she read it word for word. And so I want to thank you very much, Beverly, for holding it up. Was that a really impressive speech? Give another round of applause, please. Beverly Bond and the work that Black Girls Rock does is exactly what Blackstreet is also about. This is about progress, right? And I talk about this a lot in my capacity as a New York State Senator. As Michael indicated, I'm the State Senator in the 21st District in Brooklyn, which is Flatbush, East Flatbush, Midwood, Ditmas Park, Kensington, and Borough Park. The district is very diverse. Every senator in the state of New York represents approximately 312,000 people. My district is 56% black, most of which are Caribbean immigrants. I represent the largest concentration of Haitian people outside of Haiti in the world. Some people from Haiti, right? And it's 10% Latino, it's 5% Asian, including the largest Pakistani community outside of Pakistan. and it's 23% white, and represent more Orthodox Jews and the non-Jew in the state of New York. So I say I love my district. It looks like Brooklyn, it looks like New York, it looks like America. And no matter who you are looking for access to the American dream. And though for people of African descent, that access has been denied. And so it's important for us to get our stories out here, right? And I've accepted this award tonight, not for the award's sake, but really to have an opportunity to engage you in the conversation and to then give a charge about what our next steps are. Because part of what you heard from Beverly very, very clearly is exactly our situation. And we know, because we walk the streets every day, of how bad it is out there for our people. And unless we engage those people in the room, right? So the first speaker told us, look to your left, look to your right. These are the people who were here the day before yesterday, and they're going to be the people who are going to be here the day after tomorrow. If we don't do it, then who's going to do it? If not you, who? If not now, when? Right? And Kennedy said that to America, 50 years ago. But it applies to us right this moment. When you leave here, what is it you're going to do? What are you prepared to do? People, oftentimes, it's good to come to things and we hear, speeches, and, I know a lot of people got revved up about Trayvon Martin, and, some of us wore hoodies on the floor of the state Senate, and everybody was really excited about that. It was the least thing that we could do, right? It didn't take any courage for me to put on a hood and come onto the floor of the state Senate, right? Most of the time, because the guards are real old guys, I know I can take a couple of them, right? But, it's the real work that we have to do in our community every single day, right? And we have a double duty. We have to protect ourselves from ourselves, because the black on black violence is as worse as the white on black violence. And so, yes, it was important that we made sure we get justice for Trayvon Martin. It was important that we let the George Zimmermans of the world know that black life is not cheap, and you cannot just go down gunning down black people whenever you feel like you want to do that. But it's also important for us to take up the reins and control our own communities. And so I was happy to see Phil get an award today as well. He's my president. I'm only a senator. He's a president. So senators always got to bow for the president. But I'm also a member of 100 Black Men. And so we have joined in brotherhood in trying to do things, particularly around education and economic development. One of the things we run is called the Eagle Academy. And there's actually opening up a new school out in Queens. Actually just opened it up in September, and it's been coming on its first year of running. But also we do a lot of work in economic development, a lot of work in politics. A good friend, and when we used to talk about African American history, people talk about Crispus Attucks. Anybody know who Crispus Attucks was? Right? First person, not just the first black person, but the first person killed in the Revolutionary War in this country, right? And my friend used to always say to me, he said, yo, Kev, why don't we always talk about Crispus Attucks? And I was like, yo, because he's the first brother to get killed in the war. And he said, yo, that means he did the least fighting. He said, we need people who are not ready to die for our cause. We need people who are ready to live for our cause. And so my charge to you is, are you prepared to live for our cause? Are you prepared to walk out of here and every single day do something that leads you towards the liberation of people of African descent? And we're running business. Are we doing business with other people who look like us? Right now there's a big craze around charter schools. Met a friend of mine who runs a charter school, and she was telling me that she's, doing some hiring of a security company. I'm like, well, who's the company? And she mentioned the name of the company. I was like, why are you hiring them? I know a black security company, been around for 60 years in Brooklyn and the Bronx. You need to holler at them and get them in. A charter school. This is why this charter school thing is popping up. And understand that these management, and I'm not against charter schools, by the way, but I'm just saying, like, these are businesses, right? Woodrow Wilson is famous for saying, the business of government is business. If y'all don't think that what we do in government is business, you ought to look at how and who comes up to Albany to talk to us, right? Sometimes, I meet some of my friends, they talking about deals, and they're like, yeah, we just did this deal, it was $800 million, and people are like, wow, that's a lot of money. And it is. We took $800 million and broke it up in this room and changed all our lives. Nobody be going to work on Monday, right? But 2 weeks ago, I just got a chance to vote on the state budget, right? State budget, third largest budget in the country, right? When I say the third largest budget, I mean the third largest budget of anything, right? It's the federal government's budget, right, at $3.8 trillion. State of California and the state of New York. This year, the budget we passed 2 weeks ago is $132.6 billion. Billion with a B. We're going to contract out in the next 365 days, we're going to contract out upwards of $25 billion in the state of New York. That's business. Anybody heard of a guy named Ross Perot? Right? Messed up the election a couple of years ago. Ross Perot made his first $1 million in the state of New York, processing Medicaid forms. A contract to the state. It's about business. We are now, as Jesse Jackson calls it, as people of African descent, in our 4th generation of the civil rights movement. The first generation was about the freedom from enslavement. Second generation was about access to the vote. Third generation was about access to public accommodations. Here in the 4th generation is about access to economic opportunity, or what Jesse calls the silver, S-I-L-V-E-R, civil rights movement, right? And so when we're here and when we leave here, we have to be about business. We have to be about our business, and we have to be about the business of our people. And that every single thing that we do, we have to be saying, how does the thing that I'm doing advance the cause of our people? How do we create more jobs? How do we create more opportunities? How do we create more housing? How do we create better schools? How do we get more engaged in the things that are happening in our community instead of just walking by the things that we see every single day? That's what we must do. That's what Blackstreet has been doing. Blackstreet reminds me of a modern day North Star, right? Because Frederick Douglass is the first one to say, power concedes nothing but demand, right? You can't have the waves of the ocean without the roar of the sea. And so, although seen as an abolitionist, he really was a writer and a newspaper person. Created North Star News, right? North Star, because that's what many African people who were in enslavement followed, right, to head north, right? And so, Blackstreet has an opportunity to be the modern day North Star newspaper. So in fact, lead our people to liberation, to be that glimmer of light, right? And we don't, we're in the 21st century now, so we have to do things through social media and on the web, right, and through Twitter. And so, by the way, y'all want to follow me at Senator Parker on Twitter, right? Like my fan page. Don't necessarily friend me, I don't know y'all like that, but like my fan page on Senator Parker, right? I'm on Instagram too, but we ain't gonna do all of that today. Right? But these are the things that we have to do to communicate, right? To get out there and inspire each other and talk about what is happening in the world, to know that we are not alone in our struggle. That every single day, the people in this room represent organizations and groups and communities that have the same struggles, and that's why we're here. And so we walk this Blackstreet together towards liberation. I look forward to our continuing to partner together as we seek to have a better community. Remember, we are the people who were here the day before yesterday, and you all are going to be the people who are going to be here the day after tomorrow. God bless.